Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, Maseches KEREISOS Daf Chav Beis. We begin at the wide line, so it's actually one line above the wide. It's Tanan Hassam. We have a Mishnah over there in Maseches Chulin. Halev, the heart of the animal, of the bird, we'll see. Kairoi, he's meant to tear it open, umaytias damai, and drain the blood out of the heart, and then he can go ahead, roast it and eat it. Loi karoi, suppose he did not do that, so he consumed the lave together with its blood content. Einoi oiver olav. He is not liable. He has not transgressed the Isser of eating dam. We'll see in a minute why. So ideally, you want to drain out the blood, but otherwise, it's not an Avera. Amar Rav Zera, why? He quotes Amar Rav, Lo yishanu ela b'leiv oif. It's only true by a miniature-sized heart of an oif, of a bird. Hoil ve'im bo kezayis. Since, because of its smallness and size, it does not contain the required amount of dam to constitute a transgression. It doesn't have a kazayas. Avalei behema, but the heart of a behema, which is large enough to contain a kazayas of blood within it, yesh kazayas asur v'chayav of kares. Not only is it asur, there's even kares for eating that, because that is true dam hanefesh. That is life force containing blood. In which case, as we learned yesterday, there's kares for that. So unlike residual bloods that are embedded within the various, meat, the limbs of the animal, which is called dam ha'ivarim, which we discussed yesterday, is only liable to a lav, malchus, but this is much more. It's actual life force blood contained within the cavity of the heart. There's kares if in fact it amounts to a kazayas. Maybe it comes a kasha. So you're telling me that blood within the heart is kares, is the highest level? It's called dam hanefesh? Maybe it comes a kasha. We have a brisa, which actually relates to dam halev, and only deems it level 2. Like dam heivarim, which is only a lav. Not dam hanefesh. Maybe dam hatchoy, the blood within the spleen, dam halev, it's in the heart, dam hakloyos, kidneys, dam heivarim, it's only a lav. Then the Brisa concludes, dam malchish time, human blood, dam shkatzim ramasim is also and chayiv and olav is also, but there is no lav of dam. We discussed this yesterday. But the dam inside a lave is not kares, it's only a lav. Why is Rav considering it for kares? Says the Gemara, well, the heart contains 2 different types of bloods. Kik tani, ein chayav and olav. When the brisa here did not apply kares to the dam halev, Adam delay was speaking about the blood within the heart itself and the walls, the material of the heart. That's no different than dam heivarim. That's secondary blood. That's not life force blood. That only carries a lav. Kik amar Rav. However, Rav was referring to life force blood, dam hanefesh, aselemi alma. The blood that the heart pumps in from through the arteries. That's circulating blood. That's dam hanefesh, which contains the life force of the animal. And in fact, if it has a kazayis, there's kares. In contrast to dam, delay, the blood embedded within the heart material, from the walls of the heart, from the meat of the heart, that's just plain dam heivarim. Ask the Gemara, dam delay hainu dam heivarim. If so, then when the brisa refers to dam halev, you're saying it's the wall material. So then that's been covered in the next example there. It already says dam heivarim on that list. Why the repetition? Ask the Gemara. Well, Tamech, according to what you're saying, milok tani dam kloyes, uktani dam Well, doesn't the Brisa cite many examples of such? It says dam heivarim, but It says dam kloyes as well, which is pretty much just another variation of the same concept. Blood within the limbs of the animal. So why the repetition? The answer is, we're going through different, examples. Nothing wrong. Elatani, Brisa lists, one example, Elatani goes to another one, to give you all different types of cases which fall under the same umbrella. Achinami here as well regarding dam alev, it's just another example of dam evarim. Achinami tani vadatani. But the blood contained within the cavity of the heart, which is pumped in from the outside, that's true dam nefesh, which has kares. Ask the Gemara me alma, mecha asilei. Where is the heart getting the dam hanefesh? Amar Reb Zera, b'shah shanashama yoytza, when the animal's life expires, misraf sarif, mishraf sharif. The heart is like a pump, right? So it goes in reverse. It sucks back in the blood, which is at the place of shchita, which is where the nefesh is expiring. So that blood, which contains the nefesh, is now pumped back into the heart. And on that blood, which is true dam nefesh, there's kares. Okay, so we have this very clear distinction. Within the heart, we have two types of blood. The dam nefesh element has kares, provided there's a kazayas, whereas the dam evarim element within the walls of the heart is like any other dam evarim, which only has a lav. Dam shanshama yoytza boy chayav an alav. So back to the Mishnah. The blood, which contains the life force of the animal, the blood, which when it leaves the animal loses its life force, whether it's during shechita or, interestingly, the Mishnah actually mentioned hakaza, when they let some blood out of the animal, some sort of medical procedure, and if that in fact contains life blood, then it's the highest tier. There's kares on that. How do we define dam hanefesh? Itma, we have a discussion. Ezeu dam hakaza shanshama tluya boy. So in fact, which blood is considered the blood which its life depends on? So Rashi explains, the way it works is the blood trickles out in various phases. Basically four phases. Initially it's shachar, it's black, it's dark. It starts trickling as dark. Then it lightens up, becomes more red. It's still trickling. Then it starts, the kiluach starts. It starts oozing out. So the rate of flow increases. It starts shooting out. Then it slows down and trickles again. So there's shoises, mikaleach, and shoises. Within the first shoises, we have two steps, black and the red. So it's black shoises, red shoises. Then red mikaleach, and then another phase of just trickling of shoises. Itmar ezeu dam hakaza shanshama tluya boy. Rabbi Yechon Amar, only when we have the kiluach, the strong oozing out, that's called dam hanefesh. Rabbi Yechon Amar calls man shemikaleach, as long as the kiluach is happening. But if it's merely trickling, whether before it's mikaleach or after, that doesn't qualify as dam hanefesh. Rish Lakish Amar mitipa mashcheres ve'elach. Once it gets past that black droplet, right, the black flow, from that point onward, once it turns reddish, even though it's still trickling, it's already called dam hanefesh. So according to Rish Lakish, it all qualifies except for the initial black trickle. Mitiba mashcheres ve'elach. From the black trickle onward qualifies. Meisvei comes a kasha. Ezeu dam hakaza shaneshama yoytza boy. What qualifies as dam hanefesh? Calls a mash mikaleach. As long as it's mikaleach. As long as there's a strong rate of flow. Yotza dam hatamtis. As opposed to the trickling blood. Mishu shoyses dam hatamtis. means not the primary blood. It's the blood that's sort of lingering behind. That's shoisi. That's just trickling out. And that doesn't qualify as dam ha-nefesh. Ma'alav, let's assume. Afilu rishon v'achron de-shoisis. Who could dam ha-tamtzis dami? The Brisa here is equating the initial trickle and the final trickle and treating it merely as dam ha-tamtzis, as blood which is sort of stuck behind and just, gets, squeezed out and slowly, drains out. That's not considered dam ha-nefesh. Only the dam kiluach, the primary, flow qualifies. Tifta de Rish Lakish, that's a kasha on Rish Lakish, who says even the trickling blood qualifies. No, l'mutei dam ha-mashche. The Brisa covers everything except for the initial black trickle. But the initial and final bloods, before the kiluach and after, even though it's merely trickling out of dam ha-nefesh, of course it qualifies as dam ha-nefesh as per Rish Lakish's view. Meisvei comes another kasha. Ezu dam rishon. There's a gersa dam ha-nefesh. What's the primary dam ha-nefesh? How do you define it? Kol zman, as long as it's shooting out, shemikalayach, as opposed to the trickle, which does not qualify. Yatzu rishon rachan, as opposed to the initial and the final blood. B'nei shoises, that's just trickling. Tifta de Rish Lakish, that's a contradiction to Rish Lakish, who qualifies them as dam ha-nefesh. Amar lachs, he says, you're right, it's a machlekes tanoi. The sanya is dam ha-nefesh. What qualifies as dam ha-nefesh? Kol zman shemikalayach. Only the actual kiluach. Divrei Reb Eliezer. Reb Shimon Omer, no. It's much more than that. Mitipa mashcheres ve'elach, starting from right after the black, even though it's merely trickling, from there on in, it's called dam ha-nefesh. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. So bottom line regarding chi of kares, which applies strictly to dam ha-nefesh, we have this machlekes. According to some, it's only the oozing blood, the mekaleach. According to others, as long as it starts, as long as it turns red, from that point onward, it is considered dam ha-nefesh, even though it's merely a trickle. Now all agree that dam ha-tamtzis is out. We have this in the Mishnah. So the blood that sort of stays behind, that has to be squeezed, that's not considered, according to any shita. Tana Rabbi Shmuel, we find a similar discussion regarding machshir l'kabel tumah. So we have the primary liquids, which if they come into contact with foods, they make it susceptible for tumah, one of which is dam. Here, the definition of dam is exactly the reverse. Here, as Rashi explains, it has to be the blood of a dead animal, of a chalal, as opposed to the blood which contains his life force. Tana Rabbi Shmuel, v'dam chalal mishteh. This is by Bilam, right? He says, we drink the dam of our victims. So we find the term drinking relating to dam of a chalal, of a lifeless being. That gives it the status of liquid. It's meant to be drank. It has a din of liquid, of dam, of mashka, of dam, to be machshir. So we learn it has to be from a lifeless being, whose blood is not considered merely like water, probably dam kilo, as opposed to the strong flowing blood. As the animal's life is expiring, that's his life force. That's not considered the mashke of dam, which is machshir. Sheini machshir says, if that falls on zraim, on plants, on food, it doesn't enable it for a tumah. So it's exactly the opposite. When it comes to the isser of dam, we want dam ha-nefesh. When we talk about dam which is machshir, we want anything but dam ha-nefesh. Back to the isser of achilas dam. So he asked him a question. Hikaz dam lebehema. So he let some blood out of the behema in two containers. And he collected that blood in two separate containers. Mao. What's the status of those bloods? Which one contains the dam ha-nefesh? Al rishon divrei kol chayiv. He's certainly liable to kares for the blood in that first container, because that certainly contains the dam kiluach, the primary blood of that animal. What about the second container? Kares for the second one. Oiloi? Yes or no? Amalei, he says, well, It's a famous machlekes. Plukta to Rabbi Yechon Reish Lakish. It's a machlekes. Because that second container does not have the dam kiluach. It only has the trickling blood. The itma, we have a discussion. He did the hakaza. He collected in two containers. If he drinks them both in separate experiences, of course, with separate forgetfulnesses, he gets a chatas per. Each one is a qualifying dam nefesh. Rabbi Yechon no, and achas for the first one, because the second one does not qualify as dam nefesh. That's just trickling blood, which is secondary to the dam nefesh. Rabbi Yehuda mechayev b'dam tamtzis. Rabbi Yehuda takes it a step further. He says even dam tamtzis, the blood lingering behind the animal, past the trickling, that's dam tamtzis, and even that Rabbi Yehuda says is chayiv kares, as opposed to the chacham who only apply a lav. Now we had this discussion in the beginning of the Masech. He has a special pasuk that despite it being secondary blood, there's kares for it. But not to think that Rabbi Yehuda considers a dam nefesh regarding other matters. For instance, regarding a carbon, where you have to take dam nefesh and put it on the mizbech for that carbon to be successful. Even Rabbi Yehuda agrees. Of course, it doesn't qualify as dam nefesh. All he's saying is that despite it not being dam nefesh, there's still kares because of a special pasuk. Amar Balaza, Moida Rabbi Yehuda kapara. Of course, he would agree regarding atonement of a carbon, where you need true primary lifeblood on the mizbeach. Shneimar, the pasuk says, "Ki adam hu b'nefesh yichaper." Which dam achieves kapara? Dam shenefesh yoytze by mechaper. Only that dam to which the animal's life is dependent upon. That is mechaper. V'she'en nefesh yoytze by in a mechaper, but just plain blood, which doesn't affect the life force of the animal. That's not mechaper. I'll prove it to you from a brayso, the sanya, dam. Pasuk says, one should not eat blood. It could have just said dam. Why add the word kol dam to include something else? Matam kol dam. There's room to think, perhaps. The pasuk had told us the reason for staying away from blood is because blood doesn't blow in your mouth. It blows on a mizbeach to mechaper. So perhaps the issue of dam pertains specifically only to a type of blood which can produce kapara, such as blood of a carbon, such as dam nefesh of a carbon, which achieves kapara. So how do I know that all bloods are covered, even of a regular animal, right? So I have a special pasuk for that. And this brayso is Rabbi Yehuda speaking. It's in this Sifra, that's the brayso in Teres Kainim, and it quotes Rabbi Yehuda there. So Rabbi Yehuda clearly is conceding that although I am applying Isur Kares to dam tamtzis, but don't think for a moment that you use it for kapara. It's just that there's a special pasuk to say that even that gets kares despite it not being fit for kapara. Don't eat blood because blood is meant for kapara. Only perhaps, it's only limited. That type of blood which can achieve kapara, i.e. of a carbon, i.e. dam nefesh. Because only that can achieve kapara according to all shittas. Dam chulin, what about blood of a regular animal? Not a carbon, dam tamtzis. Or dam tamtzis, which is not primary blood, which can't achieve kapara. How do we know it's covered under the Isser? Tam kol dam, which expands it even to these. Stam Sifra Mani Rabbi Yehuda, the anonymous Sifra, the brayso is Rabbi Yehuda speaking. It's assumed to be Rabbi Yehuda. In fact, others point out that somewhere else the Gemara actually quotes Rabbi Yehuda with this brayso. But in any case, clearly we see that according to Rabbi Yehuda, true, there's kares for dam tamtzis, but of course, to achieve kapara, even he would agree you have to have dam nefesh. Continues the Mishnah. We all know that regarding most kares matters, like chaylev, like dam, what's the consequence? B'mezid there's kares, b'shaygik there's echatas. If he's unsure, we have an asham tali. Question: does asham tali apply to me'ila as well? If a fellow diverted hagdish materials for personal use, if it was confirmed that he did it, he'll bring an asham vadai, a definite asham. I'll pay up the principal plus a fifth. What if he's not sure? Does he bring an asham tali for that? Rabbi Kiva machayev. Yeah, He obligates al safek mila when there's an uncertainty regarding mila. Bring an asham tali, just like if he's unsure he ate chayla, no difference. V'chachamim paitrim, they exempt. There's no asham tali by mila. Umayder Rekiva. Now, although Rekiva obligates him an asham tali, but he agrees that you don't have to pay up at this point until you confirm that you actually took the money. Sheina mevias milah, so you don't have to bring the meila material, meaning the money. You don't have to pay back achi svadaloi until he confirms, until he discovers that he actually did it. Shiavi imay asham vadai, in which case he'll bring the money together with a asham vadai, asham ilos. Amar tarfin. What's the point of bringing an asham tali? Just bring one asham and say, look, condition it. If I did it, it's my asham vadai. And this way you covered all bases. Amar tarfin malaza maybe shtei ashamis. In fact, Tosis and Shabbos explains, he holds you can't. You can't bring an asham without payment. It's one package. So what's the point of bringing two ashamis? One now and one later when he discovers. Ella, rather the correct approach is maybe mila. Bring the money with a fifth. Pay up. V'yavi asham mishnei slime. Buy an asham worth $2, which is the minimum value for the asham. V'yamar, and get up and declare as follows. If it will turn out that actually I did mila, here we go. Zu mila, zu ashami. Here's my payment. Here's my asham vadai. V'im safek malti. But if I'll never discover the truth, I'll remain uncertain. Okay, it's a gift. The money is a donation. And the asham is an asham tali because may as well asham minshu maybe ala hoida, the same type of animal that you bring when you know, maybe Allah you bring when you don't know. So what's the point of bringing it once and again? Just bring one on condition. Now, in principle, Rekiva agrees. He says, yeah, but what about if it's $1 million question? Amar Rekiva, near and dvar of mila mu'uta. It makes very much sense when the amount of mila, we're dealing with a small amount. Fine. So bring the $10. One carbon on account. What if he encountered a possible mila of a huge amount, 100 mana? It's not so easy to lay out the money if you don't really know that. Isn't there a better option for him? Skip the money for the time being. Just bring a cheap asham, $2, as a temporary atonement, as for the asham tali. Instead of bringing a savik mila worth $100, instead of paying it up, and therefore says the Mishnah, of course, Moider Rekiva, the Reb Tarfon, Rekiva would agree to Reb Tarfon. The better approach is to bring one and make that condition. Yeah, but mila mu'uta, when it's a small amount that we're dealing with. So bottom line, when it's a small amount, all agree. Better option is pay it up, bring one asham on account, on condition. If I sin, it's my asham vada. If not, right? But if it's a large amount, Rekiva says better go with the asham tali, which is a good option. To which Reb Tarfon disagrees. We turn to Talmud Bavli. Talmud Rabbanan v'im nefesh l'chayiv al sveik mi'ilos asham tali. Divrei Rekiva. So if you look at the Psukim in Vayikra, we have a discussion regarding mila. He misused hekdesh money. No question asked. He did it. He has to bring an asham vadai. Asham ilois, it's called. The next discussion, next chapter in the Psukim discuss asham tali. Person is unsure whether he ate the chaylev, etc. The question is, do we make a correlation? Do we make a connection? Rekiva says yes. We connect the upper chapter with the lower chapter. The upper chapter, which speaks about Me'ilah, with the lower chapter, which discusses Asham Tali. And we say, look, there's a Vav that connects V'im Nefesh, right? V'im Nefesh tells you, look, we import the Asham Tali concept upwards as well to the Me'ilah. He's unsure he did Me'ilah, he brings the Asham Tali. They exempt him. There's no concept of Asham Tali by Me'ilah. Perhaps the Machlekes revolves around this question. Do we export the Asham Tali upstairs to the Me'ilah? The Rekiva Savar Lameidin Eliyam Mitach. We learn the upper from the lower. We apply Asham Tali to Me'ilah as well. Rabbanan Savar, no, ain't Lameidin Eliyam Mitach. We don't learn the upper from the lower. Amar Papa, you can't say that. All agree that Ivav is a true connector and allows for this sharing of information. The Kuli Alma, Lameidin Eliyam Mitach. All agree in general, we do learn the upper from the lower if there's above connecting. They came because otherwise, suffering. the requirement to shech the carbon on the north of the Azara, b'ben baka by cattle, there's no pasuk by cattle to do b'tzafin. We learn it from the pasuk that speaks about tzafin by the sheep, by the lighter animals, by way of this type of learning, this vav connector. So tzafin b'ben baka l'mishkachas, you wouldn't know to apply it over there if not for this vav connector. Clearly, all are agreeable to this concept of connecting through a vav. So why then over here? Ella hacha hainu time the Rabban Patri. So why then do Rabbanan exempt a safek me'ilah from Asham Tali? Why don't we connect the upper discussion, the me'ilah discussion, to the lower discussion, the safek, the Asham Tali, through the vav devim nefesh, and import the concept of Asham Tali up to the me'ilah? The Gemiri mitzvahs, because they have a shava, which undoes this notion. They learn from mechatas. It says mitzvahs by the Asham Tali. It says the same by the chatas, and we compare notes to learn that Asham Tali is limited to something which is reminiscent of a chatas situation, as opposed to me'ilah, which runs a different track. Malahal, just like a chatas. What defines a chatas? Person ate chaylev, right? Davar shachayav and alzdain a something which carries a kares consequence if done purposely. Vashigas a chatas, by mistake you bring a chatas. Vasfeik, and therefore, third option, if he's unsure, he brings an asham tali. Afkol, likewise, anything which fits this bill would be eligible for the asham tali, as opposed to milah, which does not fit this bill. Avkol shachayav and alzdain a kares. Vashigas a chatas. Alsfeik asham tali, change the gersa. It's only something which fits this bill. He deserves maybe Alsfeik asham tali. Lafuk milah as opposed to milah, which runs a different track, has a different set of consequences. They chayav and alzdain a kares. If one did milah but there's no kares. The sani of a brisa. What is the penalty for milah? He did milah. If he did milah b'meiz, he did milah. Rabbi Yamim Misa, different type of punishment. Misas mizeh shemayim, which is different than kares, where it affects the person's kids too. Chas v'shalom. So it's a different type of v'chacham aimrim ba'ashara. According to chacham, there is no misa either. It's just a warning. It's just a lav. If so, he's not fitting the picture. There's no kares for mezit, in which case he's not eligible for the Asham Tali. But Rabbi Akiva Savar, he holds sure. Of course, we want to make that connection through the Gzera Shava, to the Chatas, but not to this extent. Rabbi Akiva Savar ki alfinan mitzvos mechatas. This Gzera Shava from the Asham Tali to Chatas is not coming to preempt applying the Asham Tali to Me'ilah. No. When we learn the mitzvahs mechatas chelev, it's called chatas chelev because Rashi says it's next to the discussion about eating chelev. Right next to it, it says the pasuk about chatas. So the Gemara typically refers to a standard chatas as chatas chelev. In any case, the point of connecting us to the chatas, lachu di alfina, it's for the following derivation: to exempt other things from Asham Tali. For instance, Tumas Migdash Ukadashav, entering the Migdash when you're tummy, that elicits a different response. That doesn't generate a chatas, a fixed chatas. It generates a fluctuating, a flexible type of carbon called carbon oil of yard. If you can afford it, it's an animal, otherwise it's a bird, etc. So that type of violation does not qualify for Asham Tali. So we exempt that. How? Because we learn Malahalam Bikvur, just like the Chatas is a fixed carbon, Afkam Bikvur, likewise. Here, meaning the Asham Tali system, only applies to a fixed carbon situation. Afuk as opposed to Oil of Yerid, that type of carbon doesn't qualify, even if he's unsure, it doesn't qualify for the Asham Tali delay. Rabbanan Sabri, they hold, once you're going with the Gzera Shava, you can't split, you can't limit the Gzera Shava to learn only this and not that. Rabbanan Sabri, in Gzera Shava l'mechza, you can't have a half Gzera Shava. Once we open that channel, we connect Hashem Tali to Chatas. We have to import everything from there, all the guidelines. Fixed Karban, Chatas, flip side from Kares, which rules out many things. It rules out Oil V'Yerd, also rules out applying the Hashem Tali to Me'ilah. Ask the Gemara, Mechlad Rabbi Kiva Savar Yesh, Gzera Shava l'mechza? It's Rabbi Kiva, who will not disqualify Me'ilah from Hashem Tali, despite the Gzera Shava, to Chatas, which seems to indicate that it's not eligible, that Me'ilah is not eligible for the Hashem Tali. Is it because he will splice the Gzera Shava into half, meaning he'll only learn part from Chatas, but not completely? How can you do that? Ela dekuli alma, ein Gzera Shava l'mechza. The answer is typically, you can't restrict Gzera Shava. But here it's different, because we have that hekesh, that connector, between the upper parsha, Me'ilah, to the lower parsha, which is Hashem Tali. And that preempts expanding the Gzera Shava all the way. Typically we don't limit the Gzera Shava. We open the channel and we import, export, open. Why is Rabbi Kiva in this case hold differently? The Amar Kro, because we have that connector. V'im nefesh, the Vav, between the upper parsha and the lower parsha, between Me'ilah and Hashem Tali. Vav Moisiv, it's adding another element Alinyan Rishon to the previous discussion, meaning the upper will learn from the lower to apply Hashem Tali to Me'ilah as well. Rabbanan Safri, okay, what about that connection? How are we going to... Well, we applied for something else. Tachtun hu the government alien. Actually, it's the lower parsha which is going to learn from the upper parsha, rather than in the reverse. L'asham b'kesef shkolim. We're going to learn just like by the Hashem Me'ilah, it's meant to cost you $2, kesef shkolim. Likewise, the Hashem Tali is meant to be valued at kesef shkolim. So we activate the hekesh for that purpose, and the Gzera Shava between Hashem Tali and Chatas to set the guidelines for Hashem Tali, which preempts applying it to Me'ilah, because it's not a Kares versus Chatas situation. Now many take out the next couple of lines. We'll just read it. Rabbi Kiva Saru, he holds, you can't have a half a connection. If you're going to connect it all the way to apply Hashem Tali to Me'ilah as well. Mechal Rabbanan Sabri, Rabbanan say we could do a half a hekesh. That's a surprise. But we know for a fact, we don't do that. Truthfully, typically we don't do half of hekesh, but here the Gzera Shava preempts the hekesh. Why do Rabbanan go differently? The Gemiri mitzvahs, because they have the Gzera Shava from here to Chatas, after Mekesh, which undoes the full effect of the hekesh. Others have a different girsa. Basically, what's coming out is that we all agree that there's a hekesh. We all agree there's a Gzera Shava, which in a way are at odds with each other. Let's picture it again. We have discussion regarding Hashem Me'ilah. Person misuses Hegdish, brings in Hashem Me'ilah. Below that we have Hashem Tali. When there's some uncertainty, we bring in Hashem Tali. We have the Vav which connects. They'll learn one from the other. Then we have a Gzera Shava connecting Hashem Tali to Chatas. Now, if we go fully with the Gzera Shava to Chatas, that tells us that Hashem Tali is only going to be applicable in something which is reminiscent of a Chatas Korah situation, as opposed to the upper parsha, which is Me'ilah, which doesn't have that. On the other hand, if we connect Hashem Tali to Me'ilah through the hekesh, that sort of overrides the Gzera Shava. It tells us, yes, we do apply Hashem Tali to Me'ilah. So which way do we go? So there's a girsa which says that perhaps the machlekes is what's superior. Is the hekesh stronger or the Gzera Shava stronger? And the answer is no. Typically, the hekesh is stronger, but the Rabban can see that we'll learn something from the hekesh. We're going to learn the price of the Hashem. So once we we have an application for that hekesh. Now we can go to the Gzera Shava all the way and say, well, Asham Tali has to fit the guidelines of the Chatas Kares equation, in which case it's not applicable to the Me'ilah, which doesn't have those features. Now the Gemara continues. Rabbi Akiva, he will not learn the value of the Asham from the Hekesh. So for him, the Hekesh will have only one application, which is to teach us that we do share the Asham Tali concept with Me'ilah. What about the Gzera Shava Tachatas? Okay, inevitably that's going to be limited and restricted to tell us only something, which is that just as Chatas is a fixed entity, likewise Asham Tali only applies to a fixed situation as opposed to Oil of Yerd. But it's not going to preempt, it's not going to exempt applying Asham Tali from Me'ilah. Rabbi Akiva, Asham B'Kesef Shkolim Nafkale, because according to Rabbi Akiva, the connection between the upper and the lower cannot be used for value of the carbon. We know that from elsewhere. The fact that an Asham is meant to cost 2 shkolim, Nafkale means Zeis Teres Asham. Zeis Teres Asham. Torah Achaz Kol Hashamis. The same rule applies to all Hashamis. La Asham, B'Kesef Shkolim. That just like here, the Asham is meant to cost 2 shekel, likewise elsewhere. So he learns the value from a different source. Hence, the Hekesh is to tell us that Asham Tali applies to Me'ilah. And the Gzera Shava from Asham Tali Chatas is only coming to exempt the Oil of Yerd from Asham Tali. But the Rabbanon, they need the Hekesh to tell you the value of the Asham Tali. So we have no loss. We're left with no source that Asham Tali applies to Me'ilah. As per the Gzera Shava between Asham Tali and Chatas, that only applies to a Chatas Kares type of equation, and not to Me'ilah. Rabbanan, they respond, that's not you can't learn from there the value. Is the Asham, even though it does say it like that. We still need that connection, the Vav Moisev Alin Rishon, to connect the lower to the upper, and to learn the concept of the value from upper to lower, meaning that Asham Tali is worth $2. Because from that pasuk you can't learn it. If only that pasuk, I would say, when do we say Torah Achaz Kol Hashamis? One rule, equally to all Hashamis. That's only regarding other types of Hashamis that it brings on account of a certain Aveira, when he does definitely an Aveira, but when it's an unsure situation. Aval Asham Tali, given al Safek Askas, Chelev Kaasi. Why is he bringing Asham Tali? Because he may have eaten Chelev. Guess what? Even if he actually did eat chelev, what does he bring? A chatas. A chatas could be worth pennies. Ema. Perhaps in this case you can't be more strict and require him to spend more to account for a possibility to pay 2 shkal for an asham, when if it were confirmed it would only cost him a few pennies. Mivadoi. Ma vadoi chatas vatdanka. Just as when he knows for sure he ate the chelev, how much have to spend for the chatas? But danka, a coin. Danka, perhaps when he's uncertain, he brings an asham worth the same. That's what I would think. That's why we need a special pasuk, a special source. That's why we need the vim nefesh vav, the connector, moisel and rishon to tell you. Asham Me'ilah says 2 shkalim, likewise asham tali. So once the hekesh is applied for that purpose, it frees up the Gzera Shava to teach us that Asham Tali only applies in a Chatas Kares situation and not to a Me'ilah. Whereas according to Rabbi Akiva, he applies the Hekesh to tell you that Asham Tali applies to Me'ilah as well. Because in terms of the cost, the value of the Asham, that's not from Zeis Teres Asham. That's not so simple. The whole discussion back in Menachos, some do learn it this way, some don't. According to the other approach, it doesn't learn the pasuk this way to expand it on all the Hashamis. Michael, remember, then we're out of a source. We have another source for the value. Yolav be'erkecha Asham Me'ilah. Asham Me'ilah it says be'erkecha. By the other Hashamis it says be'erkecha. So we know. By the Asham Tali it says be'erkecha. So we know that the value is meant to be the same. What about Asham Shechach Harufa? Like Kosav be'erkecha. It doesn't say be'erkecha by that type of Asham. Okay, Alfinan, we have a different Gzera Shava. Ba'ayel. It says Ba'ayel here. It says Ba'ayel by the Asham Me'ilah to tell you that the value is one and the same. Okay, so conclusion. Safek Me'ilah. Is it eligible for Asham Tali? A fellow who has a Safek about Chelev, of course. Mezid is Karas, Shegig is Chata, Safek is Asham Tali. What about Safek Me'ilah? Vada Me'ilah is Asham Vade. Safek Me'ilah is Machlokes. So basically, we have the discussion about Me'ilah, followed by Asham Tali, then we have Gzera Shavat Chatas. Rabbanos say the hekesh between two Hashamas is to tell you the value. And then we have Gzera Shavat to tell you that Asham Tali only applies in something which conforms to the Chatas picture. Eating chayla, for instance, which elicits a chatas, kares, and that's why it's eligible for Asham Tali, but a Me'ilah doesn't have the same system. There's only a lot, right? Rabbi Kiva says, the value of the Asham we know from elsewhere, we have different sources for that. Hence, the connection between Asham Tali and Asham Me'ilah is to tell you. The Asham Tali applies to a Me'ilah situation as well if he's unsure. And the Gzera Shavat Chatas tells you that we exclude an Oil of a Yerd situation from Asham Tali. Moeder Rakiva of himself. Tarfon says, he's not sure, instead of going through two stages, just bring one Asham and say, look, on account, on a chance, if I'm guilty, if it'll turn out to be that I did the Me'ilah, so this is my Asham Vadai. If not, V'im Safek, if it's unsure. What do you mean it's unsure? He is unsure. What do you mean if he's unsure? Michael, what's he saying? Amarava, Tni im besveika emet. He says, say, Mishnah is meant to be read im bisfeiko emet lo'ilam. If he'll retain this unsureness forever, he'll never confirm, he'll never clarify what happened, so it remains yehei asham tal. Shemimin shehevi al hoida, maybe al shaloi hoida, because really it's the same type of card. May as well just do one and condition it. Safe says the Gemara, but ultimately you're not going to be exempt if it turns out later, if you discover that he did the Me'ilah. So when he finds out, when he discovers, boy, lisui asham vadi, has to bring a new type of asham. Because the Gemara is assuming at this point that since this juncture he's not aware, he doesn't know, he doesn't have the idea, doesn't have the awareness, by a chatas, you have to know to trigger that chi of karb. If he doesn't know, how could I bring an asham vadi? How could this count for an asham vadi? Amar Rava, the answer is a could. Medivrei shneim nomad. Actually, we're going to learn from both, from Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Tarfon, who had no issue with this system. So what do we learn? Asham Vadai, even Asham Vadai does not require a proper yediyah. So even on account, even on a chance, you can bring it. And if it's discovered to be necessary, he fulfilled his obligation. Okay? All the best to you, and Atzlacha Rabbah.